Hey losers, I'm Coral. Welcome to my channel. If you're joining me for the first time, what a weird video to join on for the first time. That's okay. Hi, I like to read horror books, and if you're into that, welcome to the party. Today I'm here with a little review of what I've read in the first quarter of the year. So that is January, February, and March. It's been a start to the year, for sure. And now we're getting into the second quarter of the year, which is going to be good. I'm fucking manifesting it. But as far as what I read in the first quarter of the year, there are just like some weird things that I like to keep track of. I don't know why, I just like to keep track of this stuff. For the genres that I read in the first 3 months of the year, I read 20 horror books, 1 thriller, 2 fantasy books, 6 sci-fi books, 2 literary fiction books, 2 non-fiction books, 2 true crime books, and a romance novel. So, you know what? The horror, that checks out. The sci-fi, a little surprised about that. I don't feel like my shelf with my sci-fi books on it looks any smaller. So what's up with that? I read 36 books total in the first 3 months of the year, which amounts to 10,949 pages. I can't believe I did that. Especially last month. Oh my god, last month was such a shit show. I can't believe I did that. My average rating, I don't really give books ratings, right? But for some reason I included this on things that I am keeping track of. And if I were to give these books star ratings, the average rating would be 3.6, which is a little more than I expected, but pretty on par. The length of the average book I read was 304 pages, which seems right on the money for a normal length book. I hauled 37 books this quarter, and I didn't keep track of how many I unhauled. Let me look at that quick. So there are 7 books I decided I'm not going to keep. That is a net of 30, which makes me a little bit upset because, you know, some of these stats, I guess, are to keep me accountable for the things that I kind of want in my reading life. So I brought in 37 books. I unhauled 7 of them, and my backlog is only 24 read, which, when I think about it, that's pretty good. That means only 12 of the books that I read in the first 3 months were not books that I owned. I read 12 books that I did not own or bought this year. And I really want my priority to be less books in, more books out. Which I still didn't even achieve that, considering like what I read versus what I bought. Unless you allow for like the net haul, right? Which is the haul minus what I'm unhauling for sure. I don't know. Listen, this is just me and my little brain up here. So I also want to talk about my 3 best books that I read and what my reading life has been like in the past quarter, and what I would like it to be going forward. So first, a book that I don't own, but I really fucking want to. This is Victorian Psycho by Virginia Fiedo. I'm noticing that a lot of my 5-star reads are books that I'm rereading, so that it is what it is. Anyway, so this is about a woman named Winifred Naughty. She is a governess, and she's been hired on for this wealthy family. There's like a teenage girl and then a slightly younger boy. They're both kind of terrible in their own ways, of course, because they are wealthy children being raised to, especially the boy, believe that he is such a good little boy, and really he's kind of a shit. And Winifred, or Fred as I call her, is fucking weird. She's so weird. She's very, very weird. And she might have ulterior motives for being hired on with this family. And, woo, I don't know. It's short, sweet. I listened to this on audio. I got a copy from my library, and I fucking went through it so quick. So enjoyable. It really just like, it's like all this like build up and then this crazy thing, and then the ending is excellent, and Oh, I loved it. I also loved Hearts Strange and Dreadful by Tim McGregor. This is another historical fiction. I think all three of these technically are, which is kind of interesting. This takes place in 1821, and we're in like Little House on the Prairie time. Like that's what my brain immediately goes to when I think about this. It's like almost homesteading, but in this instance, there is a community, and we're following the main character, Hester, who is living with her aunt and uncle. She's an orphan. She has burns on her face from the accident that killed her parents. And so she's kind of looked at as a, like, they don't come out and say it. And it's like, at some parts of the book, they really are kind to her and treat her like family, but she also like does so much shit for them, and they just kind of expect it. And so you get the feeling that they see her as kind of a burden, kind of a workhorse, somebody that they're going to be stuck with for the rest of their lives, because who's going to marry a woman with burns on her face, which is so shitty. And an illness befalls this village that she's in when a stranger comes, and the stranger says that this mysterious thing happened in the town a couple miles away from them as well, and he's saying something, and then there's another mysterious stranger who's saying something different, and it's like who to believe, who to trust. And, you know, also there's this terrible illness going on, and not just that, but like other strange things. I really like this. The ending made me a little bit upset for her, but it was still good. It's just like, it's like, ugh, I want to knock a little tchotchke off the table, but it was still really good. And then, honestly, my favorite of all three of these, In the Valley of the Sun by Andy Davidson. Oh my god, I fucking loved this book so much. This takes place in the 80s. It's kind of like a Western Gothic, if you can imagine what that might be like. Very atmospheric, maybe Gothic in the way where it's like, there's, it's like this man, the trailer that this man is living in kind of almost feels like a character in itself because of what's happening inside of it. But we're following basically two people. There's Travis Stillwell, who has turned up at this like campsite. I don't know, fuck, what do they call it? I had a word for it. I kind of feel like I figured it out, now I don't know, but he is staying at a place where you can park your trailer and stay. Not necessarily a trailer park, because this is a travel trailer, but something like that, you know? And the person who owns this is a widow named Annabelle. She has like a 12-year-old son named Sandy, who doesn't have a great, I mean, he just doesn't have really a father figure in his life at all, because his father's dead. And he, you know, they kind of form a strange relationship with Travis. But Travis is becoming very sick. And it all started after he spent the night with a mysterious woman. And what's gonna happen? Oh my god, this book left me like a shell of myself, I feel like. It's so fucking good. The writing is so nice, but it's not writing that's like super lyrical or something like that. It's not super flowery language, just like really good and really nice. And if you pick up any of the books in any of these three books, I think it probably should be this one. It was so good. So my reading has been fairly good. Like, I'm pleased with, I mean, I don't feel like I'm somebody who gets too caught up in the numbers of everything, but maybe I should be when I'm buying books. You know, I shouldn't be buying so many books and not reading them. I do have the intention to, of course. So as somebody who's not like super concerned with the number, I'm fine with the amount that I've read. And I'm actually like pleased with it, even like because of how kind of chaotic the start of this year has felt. Being in school, my dog was sick for like 2 fucking weeks in January. We were sick for like all of February. Like one of us was sick at all times in February, and that kind of leaked into the beginning of March as well. So it's like, I feel like March has been better, luckily, but now it's like, I've got things like events that I need to go to and things like that, like family stuff, co-worker stuff, things like that. So it's like, gotta take a deep breath. I definitely have had, I feel like I've had less time to read than before, but I'm hoping that will slow down. I don't know, or maybe it won't, because like we're getting into summer, and like these are the nice months in California, in my opinion. You know, the getting into summer before it's blisteringly hot. It was 89 degrees already the other day. Now it's supposed to be cooler again, but I know there's going to be a lot of shit going on. So I'm pleased with the amount that I've read, but one thing I would like to change is I've read 24 books that I owned previous to this year. That's what I count as like my TBR, my backlog, etc. But I would like to increase that number, or at least make it so I am reading more of my backlog than I am bringing in. Some of these books, however, I do have to say, in my defense, some of the books that I have bought have been books that I've read some other way, listened to an audio copy. Maybe I had an arc of it and I really enjoyed it, so I'd like to support the author and also have that book for like my collection. Also, this month I replaced some books that I had on my shelves. We'll get into that when I have a book haul, or if you already watched my book haul. I don't know when I'm posting this shit, so if you've already watched my book haul, I kind of explained it there. But so like not all of these books that I am bringing in are books that are going to be on my TBR. Maybe I should keep track of that as well. I don't fucking know. I am month by month putting aside the books that I know I don't want to keep. So they're not just like getting put back there on the books that I've read just because I've read them, which was a thing that I did for many years and it was unsustainable. So I'm not keeping books that I don't want anymore, which is big, but that's less books than probably it should be, because here, this should be books that I fucking love, right? And sometimes what's going on there are books that I liked. And it's okay to like books, but I don't have room for books that I just like. And I've read them now, so they should find another home. Now going forward, I would like to read my TBR, obviously. I've got some new releases, which like there will always be new releases that I want to read and that I will be buying and that I will be listening to and then maybe buying copies of, like Victorian Psycho. But I want to make sure that those new releases get read, don't just get left on my shelf to become books that I've had for years in the future. But otherwise, I just kind of want to keep doing what I'm doing, except for, you know, the fact that I want to really be intentional with my book buying, be intentional with my reading. So that's a little look at what I read, or how I read, kind of both, in the first quarter of the year. Will I do this 4 times? I don't know. Last year, I think maybe I posted 2 of these and then I filmed a 3rd one and didn't. I don't know what happened. Probably I just got so behind on editing things that it didn't work out. But anyway, let me know what you think of this. Let me know if there's anything you've achieved reading wise that you're super proud of. I'd love to hear it. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I will see you later. Goodbye.